everyone? I am Wink.
And I am Skillz.
And this is Scream Cheese. This is a show where we talk about horror movies and all things horror movie related. Today we're talking about the movie The Autopsy of Jane Doe, directed by, God, I'm gonna butcher his name, André Øvredal. Oh, yes, André O, starring Emile, Hirsch, and Brian Cox. Skillz, do you want to tell us a little bit about this movie?
Yes. Allow me to. It's a story about father and son coroners who experience supernatural phenomena while examining the body of an unidentified woman. Yes, I pulled that directly from Wikipedia. That's pretty much it. They have a body delivered to them from the police and they say, we need to know the cause of death by the morning because of the situation. And the whole movie is about them doing a autopsy and what they discover along the way.
Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Right when we get into it, I'm like looking at like shot composition and stuff like that and like really great right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like a lot of attention paid to it in the beginning. Then I don't know anything about this movie and I see Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch and I'm like, wow, we have like talented actors in this as well. And they're performing really well. The plot is super compelling. I'm really getting into it. By about a half hour in, I'm recognizing that I still don't know what this world is like capable of or what I'm supposed to be expecting. And then like 40 minutes in, I'm not entirely sure yet either. And then stuff starts happening and it feels to me disconnected from the world that they've kind of created. And the performances to me start getting bad. The writing starts getting bad. The more that stuff happens, the worse the movie starts getting. I don't know. What was your experience, Skillz?
I thought it was a masterpiece. No, I'm kidding. Every film, you know. So for me, I had a very similar experience. Obviously, from the get-go, it's shot really well. I'm a fan of Emile Hirsch. I've only seen him in one film. And then I'm a big fan of Mr. Cox. I've always liked him. And I love the relationship that they were building at the beginning with the father and son. Like, it was really genuine and it was cool. And I also felt like, hey, this is something a little different. We're getting like insight into like actually being like a coroner and the kind of work they do, and not in like some overly dramatized way, but like seeing like the day-to-day stuff, what they deal with, the science behind it, the thinking, the, you know, the methodologies behind it. So it was really cool. They bring in this body of this girl. She's flawless. And you're already like, okay, this is going to be good. What's going on with this? And then the problem is like they would find her lungs blackened, which would be impossible, or they find her ankles broken, which would be impossible. So it was almost like they were writing themselves into this corner that you were hoping there was going to be this really great payoff. And then I feel like the second half of the film just turned into kind of a generic ghost kind of story. And to me, the fact that the father and son both died, that hurt a lot, because I do like how they bookend the beginning and the end. Like wherever this body goes, crazy shit happens, and by the end of the film, I think the sheriff wants it out of his jurisdiction. But for me, it was like the father dying worked, the son dying shortly after that, and then it was kind of like, that was like a really bad decision to me. But even more so than that, I feel like they promised so much early, and then the delivery was really kind of a dud. And so for me, in a nutshell, this was a perfect example of style over substance. You know what I mean? Like good actors, good filming, a good concept, a good beginning, but it just kind of fizzled out by the end. And yeah, I'm like you, I don't have a whole lot to say about this. I'm kind of surprised that it gets the reviews that it does.
Dude, that is exactly how I feel. Dude, I was so stoked for us to watch this because in the horror groups, there's no disagreement about this movie. Like, people love this movie and they suggest it. It's on the list. Like, whenever people are like, hey, I'm new to the horror group, want to see something, anything good? Everybody has like a list of 10 movies that they suggest, and every one of them has this movie, dude. I don't get why. It's strange.
Like you, the beginning and the premise, like it's set up to where you're like, okay, I can see this turning out to be like really good, but it didn't. Now I have to give like kudos to the actress, have her name, it's Olwen Kelly. The fact that the director realized that we're going to be doing so many close-ups because, you know, the majority of the film is about this autopsy. And so he knew that even if we had like the best CGI, the best makeup effects is probably not going to cut it because we're so close. And so she played that whole film, that dead body. And I guess she is really good in like yoga and stuff. So she was able to hold her breath really well and do a lot of things. So from what I've heard, she had the toughest role in the film. And I thought she did great because I can imagine that being kind of a tough role to pull off because you have to do,
man.
Yeah, you have to do nothing the whole film. And then you're naked and, you know, so kudos to her.
Dude, I'm in total agreement with you. I feel like it did turn into like a really generic ghost story towards the end. It had very stereotypical things with like looking in the mirror, like the thing that helps you see around corners and like there's somebody around the corner. Like all these things to me felt very, very stereotypical. It did all kind of disintegrate for me in the second half. I would say even the performances, I know I kind of touched on this before, but like when they kill Emile Hirsch's girlfriend and then Emile Hirsch has like his like crying performance, it's very strange. Like it's like kind of over the top. And these are really talented actors. I felt like Brian Cox, towards the end, his performance is like kind of cringy. I would say everyone's performances get very cringy towards the end.
Yeah, and let me just tell you, for me personally, when the girlfriend died, that was pretty heavy for me. I think the problem though was this: you can take a really great performance and stick it in the middle of like a lighthearted scene, and it's gonna feel weird because like that was such a heavy thing to drop. Like you just killed his girlfriend, and now we got to move on with the rest of the story. And like that's almost like you end the film with something like that. You know what I mean? And you also have to set it up to where when she dies, it's like it really hits you. It was just like, oh, we're seeing like these dead bodies coming to us, but it's the whole trick. Like we thought we were seeing dead bodies, but it was really the girlfriend, and you hit her with the axe and she's dead.
And that's a very stereotypical device, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't think of off the top of my head, but I feel like I've seen plenty of horror movies where the hero thinks that they've killed a bad guy, and then all of a sudden it's like clarity has come to them and they killed a girlfriend or something. It's like kind of a typical device.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting too? At the beginning, again, was done so well. The part where the girlfriend wanted to like see the bodies, and they're like, no, you can't unsee certain things. And I'm like with them on that, because for me, the job that they do would be like my nightmare job, the worst job you could ever have. Like I could never do that. And the fact that she's interested in it, and it's kind of putting the audience in her shoes. Will she deal okay with it, or is she going to get messed up? And she seems genuinely curious. The whole bell thing was good, because that actually kind of made me jump a little bit too. That was kind of a cool little moment.
I agree that moment worked, but it was very obvious to me that that was like a setup that we were gonna hear the bell.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
It's so on the nose. I don't know.
The one other thing I will say, and then I'll be finished with what I have to say about this film. The director, André Øvredal, this was his first English-speaking film. I think he's a very talented director. What's interesting is he saw, I think, the first or second Conjuring. I'm guessing the first one, and he was really impressed by it. And he said, this is what it's about. It's getting back to the basics of scary movies. And I agree with him when it comes to the first Conjuring. So he said, I want to do a film like that. And he told his agent, they grabbed him a script, and he took it and he shot it. And so I will give him a bit of a pass, because let's say I was a good director and I'm doing my first foreign film. I may miss the mark on certain things because of cultural differences or whatever. So I look forward to seeing more from him. I can't remember what other films he's done.
I think he did Troll Hunter.
Troll Hunter. Okay, so check this out.
Yeah.
Troll Hunter was I haven't seen it and I actually want to see it. I hear it's really good. But Troll Hunter is a found footage film. And he wanted to break away. He wanted to do something that wasn't found footage as well. And the interesting thing, as I was watching this film, I kept feeling this feels almost like a found footage film. I don't know, the pacing of it, everything about it, the way it was isolated, this could have easily been a found footage type of film. So I don't know. Not that that's a negative thing, but
sure. What would you give this film out of 10?
I think I'm gonna go with a 5.
Wow, dude, I was gonna go with a 5 as well. We are in complete. I thought we were gonna be in disagreement on this film, dude.
I thought you were gonna like love it.
Yeah, dude, I was very disappointed by this one, and I was like ready to really enjoy it. It's very confusing to me how people love it so much. It's bizarre. The fact that I haven't heard like a single dissenting opinion, and that we both had the same same opinion here. It's very strange. It's strange to me that when people recommend it on the horror groups, there aren't people like, oh, I wasn't a big fan of that. It's always like, oh, yes, dude. Awesome movie. In any case, thank you all so much for hanging out during this conversation. Please remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you thought of this movie, and make sure to suggest any of your favorite scary movies in the comment section below that we should be checking out. In any case, we will see you next time. Peace out, cheesers.
Peace.